Hey friends, how about a recycle project? Because anytime we can help our earth, the better. So today I thought we'd make a fun little activity that your kids could play with by using empty cardboard paper roll. Could be paper towel roll or toilet paper roll. Toilet paper roll is going to be more of a challenge because it's skinnier. Paper towel roll may be a little bit easier for the young ones because it's a little bit bigger around, right? Then you'll also need a lid. It could be a lid to a water bottle, soda bottle, any kind of those small lids. You'll need some sort of curling ribbon, twine, yarn, some kind of string, right? Probably some tape, maybe stapler or hot glue to be able to attach the bottom of our roll together, some scissors. You could use any kind of paint, or you could even roll paper, like glue paper around your roll, or color the roll, like with markers. So use what you have, problem solve a little bit if you don't have something I'm using, and come join the fun. So anytime I can reuse things from around the house to create fun projects, I try to, because A, it keeps it out of the trash can, and B, it kind of makes my brain have to see things and think about things in a different way. So first thing I'm going to do is I just have a big old brush, and oh wait, rewind. We are going to attach, and you could, if you wanted to, cut your roll a little bit smaller. So like I could trim my roll down just a little bit. You don't have to, it's just if you want to. Okay, and then I could take my stapler and go ahead and staple. And the reason why I want to do this right off the bat is so that when I go to paint this, if I were to paint it first and then cut and staple it, it could kind of mess up my paint job, like make the paint crack or whatever. So now I can use some green. Now I don't actually have green paint, so I am going to take some yellow, and I need that scrap paper in just a minute, and some blue, and kind of mix these together. Now I'm painting first, and then I will get into, and then I'm going to grab some white and put it right over here by my green and mix that in. And the reason being is because, there we go, because the cardboard roll is brown, so if I put some white into my green I made, then it makes it not so see-through. And I'm going to grab a little bit more blue to darken up my green some. Okay, so the more blue you mix into your yellow, the darker your green will be. All right. Now, if you just sort of pinch it like that, then we can there we go. And flip it around. There we go. And so I'm just getting a nice thin layer over my whole frog. And I guess you could think of a different thing for this to be, like, instead of a frog, what if it was a shark? That could be totally fun, right? Kids would love that. Kids are obsessed with sharks for some reason. Okay. So there we go. So now we have the outside all green. To clean your brush, you really want to smush and swirl, wipe on the inside. If you tap your brush on the edge for some reason, adults, I don't know why you do this, but you tap your brushes. I really think adults do it way more at my studio than the kids do. So don't tap your brush, you'll splash somebody. And then on the inside, we could make it red. Not like blood, but just like the inside of a mouth, right? And that's a little trickier. If it's too hard to hold on to, you could always let it dry and then come back to it, right? Okay. So I'm trying to spread it out nice and thin so that way it doesn't take forever to dry. And the faster it dries, the faster we can play with it, right? There we go. Now, I would not say, you know, I'm super crazy about saving the earth because I know I can't do it myself, but anytime I have the opportunity to do something helpful for the earth, I can. So when I can reuse things like plastic bags or things like that, then I try to. We definitely use, you know, the little plastic sacks for trash bags or wet swimsuits or dirty laundry after staying at grandma's, or sending, you know, extra stuff over to the neighbors or whatever it may be. So we always reuse our plastic. We try to take bags to the grocery store. We reuse things for art projects. We hand-me-down our clothes. And so, you know, we try to do what we can to help the earth, because if everybody, and we definitely recycle. I think we have just as much recycle as we do trash. But anyway, the more we can help our earth, the longer it's going to last, right? And be a better place to live. So that's my public service announcement. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside for a minute and let it dry. And because this has wet paint, I don't want to just set it on my table. Even though this is my art table, I still try to keep it kind of clean. Now, paint will come off your fingers, so don't worry about it. I'm using acrylics. You use what you have, okay? Now, I am going to work on my cap. And I had a water bottle cap. Oh, there it is. It was blending right into my paint plate. Okay. And what do frogs like to eat? Well, they like to eat flies, right? So you could paint this, but paint takes a while to dry on plastic. So I am drawing 2 little circles to be like eyeballs. And then I'm just going to use my Sharpie, because Sharpie doesn't rub off plastic, right? And color in my fly. Now, it doesn't really want to color in the grooves, but you know what? That's okay. Just kind of gives it a cool texture, right? Oops, and now I just colored right over that eyeball. Oh my goodness. So pay attention to what you're doing so you don't do the same thing I just did. And then I could go, you know, all the way around. All the way around. Sharpie does take a little bit longer to dry on plastic, so you might just be thoughtful about that and where you're holding it, in case it bothers you that you might have Sharpie on your hands. I don't care, but I'm used to always having art stuff on my hands and fingers. Okay. Since I completely painted over or colored over that eye on accident, totally did not mean to, I am going to use my brush handle, dip it in my white paint, and do a little dot and a little dot. Just like that, and now we have 2 little eyeballs, right? Okay. Whoop. Gracious, I am messy today. Okay. So now, flies have wings, right? So I have just this little piece of scrap coffee paper that I had left over from an origami project. And I am going to make some wings for my fly. So, kind of eyeball about how big to make them. Okay, so I'm going to do a curve like that. So a major frowny face curve. And then I am going to smiley face curve up to the middle. smiley face curve back down. You could even draw like the little vein looking things that sometimes fly wings, you know, have, or any kind of wings have, or just leave it white. Whatever floats your boat. There we go. Just like that. Come on, there's the focus. Then I'll cut this out and I'll glue it on top of my little bottle cap fly. Okay. Please, 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 always be aware of your kiddos when they have scissors in their hands. I mean, I know you know this, like forever I kept scissors way up high at my house, so that we would not have any, you know, oh, I guess I had yellow paint on my fingers, or green paint. So now I've smudged it all over my wings, but hey, it looks cool. So we just call those happy accidents and go with it. But anyway, I keep scissors up high at my house, so there are no haircuts going on. Well, I used to. I don't have to now. My kids are 13 and 21, so not necessary now, right? Okay, and then I'll just glue these little wings right on there. Just like that. And I just used an Elmer's glue stick, okay? Perfect. Now we have to attach, I wonder if my, it's getting there. Okay, now we have to attach our fly to our body, right, to our frog. So I've got some Scotch tape. I'm going to tear two little pieces, set one aside. You could use hot glue for this too, and I think that might actually work better, like be more reliable. And then I just have some curling ribbon, but any kind of stringy type thing that you have will be perfect. Now, the longer this is, the harder it will be to get in, but the shorter it is. So you might have to play with the length. Like you might just kind of cut it and take one of your tapes, and I am going to attach, so I've got the tape across, and I'm going to attach it inside my cap and really like scrape it down there. You could even use like a paintbrush handle, and the reason I'm really scraping that tape on there is because I want it to stay stuck, right? Okay, there we go. Now it's attached, and then I'll attach the other end inside the frog mouth. But this doesn't look like a frog yet, does it? So we got to make it look more like a frog. 1 second. I'm back. I forgot my construction paper. And of course you could use just copy paper or whatever you have, color it, decorate it, or don't even do this part if you don't want to. But I am going to just cut me, because I don't need this whole thing, so I'm just going to cut me a strip off. Just like that. Still have paint all over me. Okay, now I'm going to fold it in half because I want 2 arms and 2 legs, right? So I could even fold it again, or I could fold it this way if I want them to be longer. Okay, and to make a frog arm, I am just going to do, and of course this is not going to be realistic looking, guys. This is just for fun. We're just making a little reused toy for our kiddos to play with. You know, it doesn't always have to be store-bought. So we're going to go vertical, vertical, and then I'm just going to do a curve and a curve and a curve for my frog feet. And of course we can make them look a little bit more webbed if you want to, whatever you want. So it just looks like that, okay? Then we will cut it out. Stick that back there a little. And like I said, you could make it look more webbed if you want to. Whoop. And I'm cutting through all 4 papers at once because I folded it in half and then I folded it in half again. So that way I don't have to try to draw 4 exactly identical legs. Okay, so now I have 4. Just like that, okay? So from here, and those are almost the same color, aren't they? But I could make some frog spots. And I am just making a free form shape, an organic shape. It looks like that. You could just do circles or ovals. It almost looks like a circle or an oval. And then, how about some eyes, right? So I'll fold my white paper in half. And, you know, you got to kind of measure. Use your body to measure. It's okay to cut them a little bigger than you think you might need because then you could always trim them down. But if you cut them too small to start with, then you got to make them bigger, right? Okay. So there's some eyes. And then, of course, I would want to draw like some pupils, right? So I'll just make a circle, color it in, draw a little shine, and then do the same thing on the other one. And a little shine. Okay. Now, let's take this guy and start attaching everything. So I'm going to move that over there a minute. And since I don't know exactly how big the eyeballs are, what you can do is put the little eyeballs on the glue stick. And I guess actually it's going to be looking this way, isn't it? Oop, that's still red or the red is still wet. Okay, rub on there, stick on the next eye. Make sure and wipe that finger off if your red's still wet too. Or you could get a blow dryer, right? I could have blow dried this real quick. Would have dried real fast. Okay, now we've got all these little speckles. And my speckles are not going to be super noticeable. You could purposely make yours different, like a different value of green, so that way they stand out more. Like I could have made my original frog way darker, and then these would have stood out more, but that's okay. I'm going to make these other two. I don't want them to be exactly the same, so I'm going to trim them down so they're different, right? Go, rub that on there, pinch it, rub it, pinch it, and I could have made enough to put him on the back side too, up to you. And then we've got to have his little froggy legs. Just wanting to stick to my finger and not to the cardboard. I could totally like staple these on and then they'll stay stuck, right? Or hot glue would work. So problem solve with what you have. I think I am going to staple them. That way I don't have to fight with them, right? But if you don't have a stapler, hot glue works wonders. Or you just have patience and let your glue dry, right? Sometimes I don't have that. Okay, and then we have our little frog arms, so we got to think about, you know, where we want those to go. I'm thinking I'm going to put one here. Will it go in there? Let's see. Come on. There we go. And I appreciate that you guys are hanging in there with me and you are watching this video through to the end. So that way you can see the finished product. I don't want you to invest some time and then not get to see it finished. So we are so close to being finished. And of course at the end, you know, we'll see how it works. And then of course make sure that you read in my notes because I'll have some supplies that I used with some links to click. There we go. Okay, so now we've got his little arms. And I'm afraid his little arms might get in the way. So if they get in the way of the game, you can always just bend them out like that, okay? All right, he looks so cute so far. Okay, now I am going to click my glue shut. Make sure you click it shut or they will dry out. And where's my, oh, here it is. Okay. Now we got to think about how long do I want this to be? That's actually a pretty good little length. So I would say that's about 8 inches from the mouth, but of course it's longer back there. So you have to think what's going to be your best route for attaching this. Definitely could staple it. Definitely could glue. You could even glue and staple. You could tape, like I've got this clear tape. So I could put a little piece of that on just to hold it where I want it. Right? And then I could take my stapler. Oop, it'll fit. And put a little staple and a little staple through. So this is what it looks like. Oh, the shine makes it hard to see, but there's a little staple and a staple that goes through the ribbon and a piece of tape. And then I'll just cut that extra ribbon off. But before you cut your ribbon, you really want to kind of play with it first and see if it's the right length. And then you'll just, your little friend will just, ooh, make sure those staples are pushed in so they don't poke them. We'll just keep practicing and practicing until they get it to go, whoop, their frog, to catch the fly, right? And they could have a little contest with their siblings or with you. You guys could all make one and see who can catch the most in a row. Okay. And it's all about, whoop, it's all about the swing. And it would probably help if I was standing too. Woo! This could keep them busy all day long. I promise it will go in there. Y'all saw me catch it the first time before I attached it. So anyway, and maybe that's the trick too, is attaching it a little further down. That might have been the better trick. So you guys have fun with this project, and make sure and like this and subscribe to the channel and share with all your friends and leave me some comments, all that fun social media stuff. Thanks for hanging out with me, and make sure and check out all the details below, and I cannot wait to do some more art with you.